Hey guys, this is Mr. H. Hey, I am going to do a series of videos um, from the June 4th, 2024 Algebra 1 exam. I'm going to start with the multiple choice questions. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do basically all of the 24 questions. I'm going to do it algebraically in some cases. I'm going to do it graphically using the graphing calculator in some cases. But this is what I want you guys to be able to do kind of going forward. So the very first thing I want to do is I'm just going to take a couple minutes, and this is how I want you guys to attack the test. First thing you should do before you start trying to answer anything, you should go through and you should make some notes on what you think you can use to help you do this question. So I got a spreadsheet here, so I'm going to put SS for spreadsheet. This one, anytime I see inequalities, I know I can graph it as relations, so I'm going to put GR here. Now this one has an equal sign, which means I can graph it as a function, but also because it's saying all true, I can store numbers and basically get it to tell me if it's going to be true or not. So I can use both of those. Okay, let's go to the next page. All right, this is a expression. It's equivalent, and it's got a bunch of answer choices that are expressions with variables. So that's an automatic store. Now, you can make these into functions and graph them, but I think storing is a better way to go. So I'm going to put GF, so you can graph that as a function, but I think it's better to use the store feature. For this one, it's just, you're just going to calculate it. So you're just going to use the calculate, and you're going to see which one looks irrational. This one, number 6, you can always graph this, split this equation. It's a one variable equation, so you can always make it into two functions, and then you're just going to graph both of them and find the intersection, and that's going to be our answer. All right, here, this one, there's nothing calculated. This is basically what's the difference between adding versus multiplying. That's what the difference between linear and exponential is. This one, you just have to know what degree means. If you don't know that, calculator is not going to help you. All right, let's go here. All right, this one, they've given us a function. So that's my number one strategy. Whenever you're given a function, always graph it. Look at the zeros, look at the y-intercept, stuff like that. In this case, we need the zeros. So this was definitely be graph as a function. This one here, they've given us 2 points. So you can use the spreadsheet and then menu 461 to come up with the actual equation. This one, they've given us 4 functions. So we're going to graph all of those functions on the same screen, and we're going to compare them because we're looking for the one that's the highest. Number 12, same thing. They've given us 2 sequence or 2 terms. They've given us the 3rd term and the 5th term, so we can use the spreadsheet and graph it, or and then use menu 468, and we can find out the common ratio. All right, let's go. This one, this is just a box plot, so you kind of have to know some things about the box plot. This one, I might show you how to create a box plot from scratch, but it's not going to be on this exam. Like, the calculator can help you somewhat, but for this one, you just got to know what the interquartile range is. Number 14, they've given us 4 functions. We can graph this one as a function. We can graph this as a function. We can use this one as a spreadsheet, make it into a function, and then graph it. And then we're going to put all 3 of these on the same screen, and we're going to see which one has the smallest minimum. This one. Basically, we know this is the 1st term, 2nd term, 3rd term, 4th term. We can use those numbers and see which one creates the output, or we can just graph these as functions. We can change these into functions, f of n, and just graph them and look at the table to see which one gives us that. So I'm going to say graph as a function. That's kind of exceptional, but I think it's good. This one, you just have to know the definition of mean, mode, and median. The calculator will create a dot plot, but for this one, you just have to know those words. This one, they've given us 2 functions, so we're just going to graph them as functions, and we're going to compare them. We're literally going to compare them. All right, this one, average rate of change is just the slope, so you can use the formula. You can use the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 formula, or you can use the spreadsheet if you know what the 2 points are. All right. And then this one, since it's equivalent, expression, we can store numbers. Yep, let's go. 19. Basically, the graph doesn't help you here. You just have to find the intersections, okay? This one, now you can graph it, and if you use Menu 51, it'll tell you what the y-intercept is, and then hopefully you understand, but you have to be able to interpret the y-intercept. So just having the graph, it could help you find the number for the y-intercept, but you still have to be able to interpret what it means. All right, here, this one is definitely one. You can store a number for A, and then you can graph it as make it into two functions and graph it and find the intersection. So this one you could definitely use the calculator on. Now this one, you just have to know how to simplify when you are trying to convert. And this last one, they've given you 4 functions, so you're going to graph all of them, and you still have to know what domain and range means. So it'll help you, but you still have to know domain and range. So now, this is what you should do every single time you take the Regents exam. Go through initially, label everything, even if it doesn't help, but label it. If it's a spreadsheet, if it's a function, if it has an equal sign, you can graph relation or function. Can you store numbers? Can you use the calculators? Main calculator, that's what you should do no matter what. So that's what I want my students to start doing. Do that part first, and then we're going to actually go through and start solving some of these. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to post this.